Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday live. My name is Cindy Liu. I'm the education consultant in Western Australia, Northbridge office. Um, for those who don't know us, so Aussizz Group, we have 30 plus branches around the world. We provide education and migration services. In WA, we have 4 branches. We have Perth City, Canning office, and Northbridge. And recently we have Joondalup office. So we are offering personalized support for education and migration need for our students. So we do regularly Facebook Live session with our education provider every Wednesday, just so we keep in loop for students who need any college or university provider information. So today we will provide information about University of Notre Dame. So Notre Dame University, they have Sydney, Fremantle, Bream campus. They are offering wide ranges courses in like art, education, law, business, and even one of the popular nursing courses. So today it's really great pleasure to have Thomas, who is the International Student Recruitment Manager, to join us today to talk about the University of Notre Dame. Hi, Thomas.
Hello, Cindy. How are you going?
Good, good. So, can you just tell us about what is Notre Dame University and what courses are Notre Dame offering?
Yeah, sure. So Notre Dame is, like you mentioned, a university that's a national one, which is located in Perth, Broome, and Sydney. And so we take international students mostly into Sydney and Perth, being that they're bigger cities. Some of the popular courses are things like nursing is a very popular course amongst international students. So we get quite a lot of applications and students for nursing at both campuses. Other things we have popularity for is things like our medicine course, physiotherapy, also some of our business courses too, such as the MBA course, the Bachelor of Business Admin accounting course is also somewhat popular. And then we have some other courses, like you mentioned, in arts and health sciences and education as well, which are somewhat popular, but some of them have a different entry requirement, which can make it sometimes difficult for some international students to do. So yeah, they're the courses we have. I'll talk later about how the campus is, what it's like, what the atmosphere is, the locations exactly, and some of the other things as well. But yeah, really excited to, I guess, share the university to a more wider audience and explain, yeah, everything. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. For those who are watching live with us, before we going on, I just want to mention that if you have any question, feel free to put on the chat box and we will answer that accordingly. Um, for those who doesn't know or don't know, like Notre Dame University, it's you're based in Thomas is based in Fremantle, in WA. That was 20 kilometers away from the city. So you can talk about us today about the university location campus. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'll show you in my presentation when we're ready, the different campuses, the location, how far away it is, all of those things like that. So yeah, but it's like I said, a very unique university, very different to some of the other ones that you students may come across in Perth or in Sydney, being the fact that we're a smaller university, private university, and also have a town campus or city campus. So yeah, very different type of campus life, I guess, compared to some of the universities that are just sort of by themselves in suburb. We are located around lots of restaurants, shops, cafes, movie theaters, bowling alley, lots of like fun stuff that you can do.
Actively, yes.
Yeah, Fremantle campus is next to a beach as well, so that's quite handy if people want to go walking along the beach. So yeah, lots of cool things like that.
Awesome. Look like that's lots of facility around the campus.
Yeah, definitely. And it's very accessible by public transport and by car as well. So that's definitely something that's good for international students to get, easy to get to if you need to. Yeah.
Or so do you want to show us the slide?
Yeah, no problem. I'll just get the screen ready and I'll show you the presentation. So just give me one moment.
Awesome.
Okay, hopefully you can see the screen, Cindy.
Yes, we can see.
Perfect. Okay, well, let me, start going through the slides and explain the university in a bit more detail. So, the University of Notre Dame, as I mentioned. So what I'll go through is a bit about who the university is, what the campuses are like, what makes us different, some things about scholarships. I know that can always be an interesting thing for international students to hear, the programs, and I'll touch on again on how you apply at the end. So as we mentioned, this is the university across 3 sites, so very spread out. The flying, it's 3 hours between Broome and Perth, and about 4.5 hours between Sydney and Perth. So very spread out university, but it gives us one of the unique prospects that you can travel around Australia while studying. You can do some time in Perth, some time in Sydney if you want to. That's a really cool aspect because we're national. Most of our programs that we offer are the same on both campuses. So if you did want to move cities, you can do, and you'll still be doing the same course. So that's one of the unique prospects that we have at the university. So as I was mentioning, we are city and town university. So the Sydney campus is in the CBD of Sydney, basically, and the Perth Fremantle campus is by the coast in Fremantle, which is sort of a tourist slash beachside city, which has very cool heritage look, as you can see. So I have a video which I can show the students and people watching. So hopefully it works. Let me know, Sydney, if it doesn't, but it should work. And this is a guided campus tour of the Perth campus.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's working.
Can you hear the sound?
No sounds, but I guess the students can see, we have audience can see how the campus look like and the surrounding.
Yeah, no problem. I can talk through the video as it goes. So the young lady is showing us around the campus, basically explaining all the different sites and how it is. So she said, this next to the beach, so it shows, the nice water that we're very close to. And then it will show, all around. Maybe if I turn the volume up, it might work.
That's one of the things that makes Notre Dame so special. Molloy Courtyard is the place to go when it's sunny outside. Prindiville Hall is a great place to catch up with friends and indulge in some hard-earned downtime. How many classrooms have you been in with a view like that? Of course, if you want to stroll through the trees, Esplanade Park is basically the front garden of the university. Obviously, being at uni involves study, but it's hard to be too stressed out when your study area looks like this. No matter what field you're studying, Notre Dame has a dedicated space for you. Medicine, law, philosophy and theology, business, nursing and midwifery, education, physiotherapy, health sciences, and of course, arts and sciences. For your morning, midday or afternoon coffee fix, you're never too far away from one of Freo's amazing cafes. So that's Notre Dame's Fremantle campus.
So you could see from the video slightly, the buildings are quite unique and we're quite spread out across what's called the west end of Fremantle, which is the historic part. So all of our buildings you'll find are at least, most of them, except 2, are at least 100 years old or around that. And it's because this area used to be part of the port of Fremantle until, as you can see in this picture here, the port has moved to the other side of the water. So the university in the 1980s established and started buying up all the buildings around. So you'll see on the outside it looks old, but in the inside it's very modern. So things like our nursing laboratories are state-of-the-art, very newly renovated last year. So we have about 7 or 8, I think, nursing laboratories, which are all kitted out with, equipment that you'll find in a real hospital. So that's one of the cool things. Same for our physiotherapy ones, medicine also. Things like business, arts, have great classrooms with really interactive spaces for tutorials and lectures. And then all around the university, there's lots of these little courtyards, which are designed to have the students be there, catch up with their friends, have lunch, hang out, foster a great spirit, and like little oasis, I guess, away from the busy campus and the town as well. So really cool. Our library is currently undergoing a big renovation. I think it's millions of dollars renovation, and by July it will be completed, and that will again look amazingly modern, cool, with all different study areas for single study, group study, lots of interactive spaces, lots of places to hang out as well. So yeah, we're always adding new things to the university and making sure that it's always up to date and modern. So the Perth campus has that element to it. And as I said, it's very close to the beach, about 3 minutes away. To walk to the train and bus station at Fremantle from the centre of campus, roughly about 5 minutes. From other parts, it can be quicker. And then to get on the train to Perth, it's about a 30-minute train ride to Perth. And the buses, again, they go all over the suburbs as well. So it's quite accessible. There is some car parking as well if students prefer to drive. But as Fremantle can get quite busy, I can't guarantee everyone will get a good parking spot, but you can try your best. So that's one of the benefits of being at Freo. It's very accessible as well. And as you can see from this picture, there's lots of other buildings which are shops, restaurants, cafes, entertainment areas. There's the Esplanade Park there. At the very bottom, it's the famous sort of seafood area, the Fish and Boat Harbour. So if people have heard of Fremantle, they may have heard of that area, as well as Fremantle Market, which is open Friday, Saturday, Sundays, very close by. So yeah, really cool university to study at in Fremantle. And we have some accommodation on the campus too, or we have partnerships with accommodation providers in the Perth city centre. So all these are really cool aspects of Fremantle. Moving on to the Sydney campus, this is a great shot of Sydney. Unfortunately, it's not where the campus is. It's just located about 10 minutes driving from the Opera House Harbour Bridge. This is the entrance to the campus at Broadway. So the way the Sydney campus is set up is it's a split site, I guess 2 campuses in one area. So we have Broadway campus, which is arts, business, education, health sciences, like all faculties of those are located there. And then we have Darlinghurst campus, which is our medicine and nursing facility, which is located in Darlinghurst. The reason it's located away is because it's adjoining and next to one of Sydney's biggest hospitals, which is called St. Vincent's Hospital. And we use a lot of facilities between the two, and a lot of our students go on placement at these places too. So this is the Sydney campus, how it's sort of set up. I think I have a video here, so I'll show this video of the Sydney campus so you can get a feel of how this one is.
Welcome to the University of Notre Dame's Sydney campus. Located in the heart of Chippendale, our Broadway campus is just a 10-minute walk away from Central Station and within close proximity to the heart of the city. Here is our Broadway courtyard. It's the best place to study or have a chat with friends before and after class, or when you need a break from the library. Our St. Benedict's building is our oldest building on campus, built in 1852. It's full of character and stands out from the city landscape it's nestled in. This is where our School of Arts and Sciences lives, with the schools of law, business, education and philosophy and theology just around the corner, located in the quirky back streets of Chippendale. This is our Darlinghurst campus, located on Sydney's famous Oxford Street. It's home to the schools of nursing and medicine. The campus is fitted with state-of-the-art facilities to help our students learn the key hands-on skills they need for their practical placements. It's also the home of the Anatomy and Pathology Museum and our medical library. Our Darlinghurst campus is also conveniently located next to Sydney's St Vincent's Hospital. Thanks for checking out our Sydney campuses. We hope to see you here at Notre Dame soon.
Yeah, and that's Sydney. So you get some vision of how that looks as well. So as you can see on this map, this is central Sydney, I guess, this map. And the sites are located there. Sydney Central Station is about 5 to 10 minutes walk from Broadway, and about, I don't know, 15 minutes walk from Darlinghurst. There's a few train stations that you can use, but the Central Station is the main train station. So you can get anywhere in the Sydney city and metropolitan area from there. And as you can see, all the centre is very close. Lots of student accommodation around there. Lots, again, of shops, restaurants, cafes, all of those things that your students want to do after class. All available, and so really cool. And the library of the Broadway campus is in a really cool old warehouse, but very modern inside. And yeah, so it's really good campus, really, and has a good vibrancy to it as well. Just thought I'd show this one about the cost of living between the two campuses. If you were curious, the most problem, I guess, is the rent. In Sydney is more expensive than the rent here in Perth slightly. So you can see there the differences. But the things like cost of living in terms of groceries, phone, internet, all those things are pretty much the same. The only difference, I guess, in public transport is that Perth gives a 50% discount to students, international students, may I say, where Sydney does not give that to international students. So things like that can be a little bit more expensive for each individual as they go through. So one of the questions,
sorry,
Sydney.
Sorry, just a question. Was that the kind of a bonus or deduction for accommodation?
Yeah, I mean, I think in Sydney there's no Notre Dame accommodation, so it's all private through private providers. Some of the Notre Dame ones in Fremantle can be a bit lesser. So yeah, it really depends case by case where people are staying, I guess, and things like that. Yeah. Yeah. So a question people often ask is like, what makes Notre Dame a unique university? Why should I study there? Things like that. So one of the main things I talk about is our ratings in Good Universities Guide Quilt rankings, because these are driven by students. So students rate us themselves, our graduates, our current students, and we come out quite highly in a lot of different categories. Main ones being, and I think it's quite important, are things like teaching quality. It's got 5 stars. It's because we have really good teachers who are industry professionals. Skills development comes from our hands-on experiences in our classes. So we take the theory and we take the practical and combine them together to make a really cool course for students to study. So if you like hands-on degrees, if you like, for example, nursing, you'll spend at least 4 to 5 hours a week in the laboratories doing hands-on skills. So that's a really good thing. Graduate salary and full-time employment rate also very high, which shows that our students are more likely than others to get a full-time job and to get a really good starting salary as well. So these are great things about Notre Dame. Number 2 is, again, the workplace experience. So I'll show you in a few slides' time, but every undergraduate bachelor course we have will have a type of work placement. So whether that be a practical or an internship, whichever it would be, most of our courses will have this. So I'll talk about that in a few slides' time, but you'll see the difference and why this is a really big emphasis that we provide for students. The unique personalized approach and the education, basically the student support, is really good. Like I mentioned, we are a smaller university. So a Fremantle campus has about 7,500 students, and the Sydney campus has about 6,000 students. So very small, and compared to other bigger universities, I guess. And that means that we get to know all of our students quite closely, get to maintain a good relationship with them and monitor how they're going. So if they're seeking help for academic support, personal support, or just if they need help with their assignments, there's many different places they can go to receive that help. The lecturers and academic professors will get to know them personally by their name. So that's a really cool thing that the professor will know who you are. When I used to be a student of Notre Dame too a long time ago, and I had a really good relationship with the staff members that were my professors. So yeah, that's a really cool thing. As I mentioned as well, the National University, often can be a good thing for some people if they're looking to move between cities. If they want to start in Sydney, move to Perth, or the other way around, that's a really cool benefit that we can give people, which not a lot of universities can. And like I mentioned earlier, the lecturers are all industry professionals. They're academics first and foremost, but they've all worked in their field before as well. So they all know what it's like to be a proper, doctor, nurse, physio, or business leader. All of those things are really good. So these are why I often tell students that Notre Dame can provide a really good experience for students, because we have all these different things that can make your experience something unique and something cool. So as I mentioned, the small class size element is a really big thing. So things like our lectures, we cap them at around 60 students. So like I mentioned, to provide that one-on-one tuition, so people can ask questions, get to know their classmates. So lectures will not be too big. So if people like a more, harmony approach, more less intimidating approach, we could be the one for them. Tutorials and laboratories are also capped at a maximum of 20. So again, you'll get really good experience working with the industry leader professors that you'll have. So yeah, one of the benefits that small universities can provide is that sort of one-to-one tuition. As I mentioned with the internships and practicals, these are all the different hours we have for our programs. So basically, a lot of these are mandatory internships that are built into the program. So you'll see with nursing, it's about 1,100 hours roughly. That's a guaranteed placement. It happens every semester. Students get placed by the university clinical team, and they do hospital rotations around different hospitals in Sydney or Perth, and they get to experience all the different types of nursing as well. Things like physio, again, a lot of hours, teaching, and even things like business or your arts courses, we do have internships in those where the university will help the students find the placement to where they want to go. And normally it's based off what career they're looking to do. So if you're looking in marketing, or if you're looking at things like journalism or any of those types of courses, we can place you in different areas, and you can experience what it's like to work in that industry before you actually do. So you'll have all that nervousness, all that worry that you might have before you actually go and apply for jobs. You would have already done some of it before, so you'll have some confidence going into your interviews that you know what you're talking about and that you've done it before, and you can show prospective employers, hey, I've done this, I know what I'm doing, I've done this before, I've done that before. And often you'll find from a lot of our degrees that students do get offered a job from their internship. So that's one of the benefits that we have. So talking about fees and scholarships at the very beginning. Oh, Cindy, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Just regarding to the internship that you mentioned, do the student have to find it themselves, or the university will help them to place to one of the providers?
Yeah, so we help. So definitely for a lot of the time, the students have to do nothing. They just get placed and it's all looked after for them. Sometimes in like business, health, or arts, the student has input to that, and they can sort of suggest, I would like to go into this field, I would like to go into this company, and the university will then help establish the links for them and help set up different things like, oh, maybe you should go to this company, or maybe you should go to this organization, and they'll often have links or contacts in those places where students can reach out and go to those places. So yeah, often they get an input in some courses, like physio, nursing, medicine, they just say, you have to go to this hospital on this day, off you go. But they're not left alone. They always have a clinical support team with them or an intern coordinator. So the students aren't just left to themselves and, see you later. They always have a support person that will come out and check on them. Or if it's things like nursing, medicine, they'll have a staff member with them all the time. So yeah, don't worry, you're not going to be thrown into the deep end and just say goodbye. There's always a support there for you as well. So that's, yeah, one of the benefits that we have for those. So as you can see on this page with the scholarships, there's many here to look at, and yeah, I'm sure most people are reading them now. But the main thing to know for these is that these are welcome scholarships. So they'll be given to you at the offer stage. There's no separate application needed. And it goes for the whole length of your course. So not just one semester or 1 year, it goes for the whole duration of the program that you're studying. And basically, yeah, you've got it for the whole time. So there's nothing to worry about, that you will lose it or you have to maintain a GPA. It's because it's a welcome scholarship. It's for the beginning of the course, as a welcome is, so you don't need to worry about losing it. It will be there for the whole time. So things like nursing, 20%, MBAs, 35%, Some of our Bachelor of Business and Commerce courses are $10,000 discounts. So really cool options. And like I say, you know, it's a guarantee if you meet the academic requirements and the English requirements and GTE requirements, all the usual stuff that you need to do, you'll get the scholarship. So yeah, one of the benefits we can do, and it really makes our fees a very competitive proposition, I guess, compared to other international fees that you'll see in Australia as a whole, I guess. So yeah. So if I look through a few of the courses, here's a few slides. So business goes from 31 roughly to 21. Scholarship duration for nursing drops down to 29. Education again drops down to 24 roughly, and keep rolling. Postgraduate courses like things like counseling, architecture, 20%. As I mentioned before, the MBA is now at 35%, so that's a really cool benefit, as you can see here with these different slides to how the fees do change. So yeah, that's just a selection of the scholarships. Yeah. So these are all the schools we have. I think you saw in the video earlier, the young lady toured us around the schools. We have 9 schools under the 3 faculties at the university. Many, many courses, lots to talk about, but I'll try and be as quick as possible because I know time is not on our side. But we'll go through quickly. I'll just show you some highlights. So this is the arts school, basically. Here we have the main course, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Counselling are very popular courses. These are all the majors in the Bachelor of Arts and the School of Arts and Sciences or School of Arts. So lots of different options here. At postgraduate, the main course that we see a lot of international applications for at this moment is the Master of Counselling course. It's a 2-year master's, and basically at the end you're a qualified counsellor in Australia. So this is a very sought after role, sought after job at the moment. So we've had quite a lot of interest in this course over the past 1 and 1.5 years. So for this one, that's how that works. We have architecture as well, but this one that does have a few set requirements that you need to have studied a particular degree before and undertake an interview and submit a portfolio. So these things can sometimes make it a bit tricky for people who haven't studied that area before to go into. Then the business and law school, as I mentioned here, Bachelor of Law is here and Bachelor of Commerce, and a few of the specialization degrees are there listed underneath. Things like accounting or marketing, we see a lot of people wanting to do as well. In commerce, though, you can choose any of these majors. So basically what I say to students is if you know what you want to do, like pick the specialization course, like the accounting or the human resources, etc. If you don't know what you want to do, but you know you want to study business, pick these, because basically in the first year, you have some common classes that all commerce students do. And then in 2nd and 3rd year, you pick your major and you do your major. So for people that are not certain about what they want to do in the business area, maybe they want to try a few things first, pick the Bachelor of Commerce, and in year 2, pick a major. And by the time year 2 comes, you'll have more knowledge of what you like, what you don't like, things like that. So that's the way I usually explain the business courses. And then, as I mentioned here, we have a few courses there, but the MBA is our most popular course in the School of Business for postgraduate. So it's a 2-year MBA. We have streams in health leadership, educational leadership, and general. And in year 2, you pick one of those streams and you go in and specialize in those. So depending on what your work background is, some of those fields may really apply to you and will help with future work or future management opportunities in your current workforce. Going to health sciences, just thought I'd touch on this as well while we're here. We do accept the combination PT or IELTS test for nursing. So if students need to do it twice, it has to be 2 consecutive sittings, but they can do that. And we do now accept the IELTS 1 score retake as well if students are interested in taking that. But we can do the combo nursing English to get in. So touching through these are all our health courses at the moment. So biomedical science, the biomedical science assured medicine pathway, that's Sydney campus at the moment. That's a 3-year biomedical science course plus the 4 years medicine as a combination. We have sports exercise science, health and PE, and health promotion. And then we have the nursing area, so Bachelor of Nursing, most popular course at the university for sure. 3 years RN, registered nursing course. And yeah, like I say, it's the top nursing course in the country. So yeah, really popular. We have the articulation course for enrolled nurses. So if students are thinking about going and doing diploma of enrolled nursing at TAFE or another private RTO, they can do the diploma and we give 1 year credit exemption. They go straight into year 2. So this is a course that we have. We can package with TAFE now as well. So if TAFE Western Australia, if people are looking to come here and do diploma with them, we can package the diploma and the bachelor. So it's a package COE for the students. Then we have physiotherapy, really popular course, 4 years in length. Does have quite a high academic entry requirement, so not everybody unfortunately can meet that one, but if you can, yeah, a wonderful course for you to do. You'll definitely be able to get as much experience as you want with all the practical hours, and often in Australia you find the job prospects of physiotherapists are very high. So these are the options for physio, and yeah, a very popular course, I must admit. And then we have science with these majors in the Bachelor of Science as well. So most students who choose this are choosing the environment and biology major, and also the other types of ones there as well. Oh my God. Postgrad, Master of Physio. It's a new course we've just started in 2024. So we had our first intake in January. We had one student from Aussizz come, and that was cool. But next year will be a bigger intake, because the first intake was a slow, like a gradual, I guess, one, soft launch as they call it. But this course is 2 years in length, qualify as a physiotherapist at the end. You need to have done a health or physio degree beforehand, so it has some prerequisites. But often we've seen some of the students that did it this year had already done a physio course, but overseas, and they needed to do a Master of Physio to have that recognized in Australia. So if you have a particular course like that from home, this could be a cool course for you. The only problem is it only has one intake, which is January every year. So we will have to wait another 11 months for the course to start again, but that's that. And then we also have Doctor of Medicine. So this is the MD course for medical studies. So to be a doctor, whether a GP or hospital doctor. And we have this at Sydney and Perth as well. This is how medicine looks, 4-year postgraduate, direct application to my team. Sydney has 50 places, so it's quite a lot of places for a medical course. Perth has 10. This is all due to placement availability, I guess, because our Sydney campus has many different, what they call clinical schools around New South Wales, and also in Victoria as well. So Melbourne, Ballarat, and one other, I can't remember their name, but yeah, a few in Victoria. And Sydney, we have about 5 clinical schools, as well as you can stay in the city of Sydney as well. In Perth, it's different. You stay in the Perth campus the whole time, but you do placements in the city and some regional areas if you want to as well. So these are the options you have. To get into medicine, it's simple. You have to have a completed undergraduate degree or be completing that degree at the end of this year. You take the GAMSAT test or the MCAT if you're based overseas, and receive a score of that, 52 or 500 or higher. There'll be an interview, which is the MMI interview, and then you, if you're successful, will make your offer. So it sounds really simple, but it's really not. I explained that. And this is the MMI. So MMI is an interview that looks at all these different aspects, but it's a recorded interview. You can't really study for it because it's looking at things like empathy, emotion, teamwork, things that are not really things that you can study for. They ask you questions that are trying to look at different parts of your personality and mind, I guess, and understand how you are. So you can study a little bit, but really it's just something that you have to do yourself wholeheartedly. Then we have the School of Education. Really here is early childhood, primary and secondary are the main ones. All really good courses. They're all 4 years in length. At the postgraduate level, we have the MTeach in primary and MTeach in secondary. So these are different options that we have for students. My biggest problem, though, with education is that English language is 7.5 in the IELTS. So it can be a little bit hard for some students to receive that score because there also is 2 8s and 2 7s needed. So it can sometimes be a bit tricky. But if that's the case, we can try and work out something and figure out how we can get the students into this course if they're really passionate about teaching. We also do accept the PTE for this course as well. Finally, we have the research courses. These are all options for students if they want to do things like PhD or Masters by Research. Simply for this one, you have to just make an expression of interest to the university. The school will have a look at each of your proposal, I guess it's called, and then they'll let you know if they can support that. So research is somewhat there for international, but you find it's not as popular as are some of our other courses that we have. Also have this course, it's called the Tertiary Pathway Program. This is more for your school leavers. So if you're a high school student that doesn't quite meet the academic entry requirements for the university, this is a 6-month pathway course. So it's not a diploma like some other universities offer. It's a 6-month like university preparation course. So it's for students that just near miss the entry for academic. And they do the 4 courses on the left. And if they're choosing nursing or health, they do the human biology. If they're choosing things like business or arts, they choose the communication skills. So it's an interesting course if students just miss out. But often I find more or less most students would choose to do a diploma course so they can apply for credit exemption or something like that. So this is sometimes an option, but sometimes students prefer to take another pathway, and that's totally fine. Because talking about pathways, we have a number of pathway partners. So you can see here, most of these are based in Perth. And so we have TAFE Western Australia, TAFE International. We can package many of the diplomas with our bachelors. We have some Western Australian Foundation year providers. So if students need to do like a year 12 equivalent, we can put them in the WARF program. We have some English language partners here, you can see, and also some high schools if students need that type of support as well. But I think that is more or less everything. I just may have gone over time a little bit, but yeah, happy to answer any questions anyone has. And yeah, thank you for listening, everyone. I really appreciate it. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Thomas, to give us very informative information about University of Notre Dame. You have tours around Sydney and Perth campus, talk about the courses available and the intake day, also the admission requirement. Just have one question here. So how easy for international students to transfer between campus? Let's say they want to come, they're studying at Sydney, they want to come to Perth campus. What does the process be like, and how do they start with that?
Yeah, so simply it's quite easy. They just have to do change of campus form. It's a form, and basically they just have to submit that to the international team. We'll quickly review that. And if it's a course that can be easily transferred, then we just have to do this form, which is called the internal credit transfer, which basically takes it from Sydney to Perth. A piece of cake, really. And then we just have to make an amendment to the COE of the student to change the COE from Sydney to Perth campus or Perth to Sydney campus. But yeah, it's really quick. It'll only take not too long, like a week to do it all. And it wasn't common a long time ago, but I think recently we've started to see it become not hugely common, but somewhat, because people are maybe deciding to move to Perth because of cost of living or different visa settings. So we're seeing some students moving from Sydney campus to Perth, and sometimes the other way around as well. And often it depends if students have families in certain areas or things like that. Perhaps they have a relative that lives in one of the other cities and they want to, stay with them. So yeah, often it's not a big thing, but it can be done, and it's sort of happened a few times just recently. So I thought I'd bring it up because it's a possibility. The only courses you can't do it for are medicine and education. These are state-based courses, so like stuck to each state, so Western Australia or New South Wales. So you can't move with those ones, but other courses you can. So yeah, it's possible, like nursing, for example.
Okay. What about the accommodations? Did you help them to arrange that, or do they have to, could they apply for dormitory or something like that?
Yeah, so in Perth, we do have dormitory. It's limited, like capacity, so people do have to apply early. There's no doubt about it. If they can't get into our own, we will recommend them to some of the purpose-built student accommodation in the CBD. In Sydney, unfortunately, we don't have our own accommodation, but we do have purpose-built student accommodation providers we work with. So we'll refer them on to these type of places. So that's the case. Often, though, I've found over the past 12 months, most students will choose a private rental at the moment. They would rather live with themselves in a house with friends, families, relatives, all these things like that. So often this semester just gone, semester 1, I would say about 90% of the students are in private, like their own accommodation, in a rental around Sydney or around Perth. So I think, yeah, most people are wanting this sort of a comfortable home rather than living in a purpose-built student accommodation or dormitory. People like to have their own space and things like that. So yeah, often yeah, that's what we've seen. But if students want to live on campus or near campus, we can definitely help with recommendations and things like that.
Cool. What about you have mentioned about the scholarship for all the international students, they can get the welcome scholarship. So would that be appear on the offer letter? So they don't have to apply and just automatically get it, or?
Yeah, it's correct. So it disappears on the offer letter. So there's no separate application form required. We assess everybody generally for it when we're assessing their application. So once the offer letter is released to the student, to the agent, to you guys, it will then have the scholarship discount included in the invoice and in the offer letter itself, and also the terms and conditions will be attached to it as well. So yeah, you'll find the first invoice, the first fee you pay will have that particular scholarship applied to it. So nothing separate the student needs to do. They just got to pay their fees and that's it. So yeah, it's a piece of cake, and then it will just appear on any subsequent invoice or fees every semester. So it's the whole time. So yeah, it's really easy, and it's really nothing much the students really need to do other than just apply. Yeah.
Okay, moving forward, we just have one question from Sino. She has a question for, did you provide the work visa? I guess Aussizz Group do provide 485 visa. If you have studied a higher education, like 2 years in Australia, you should get the 485 visa. If you have a more question about how you want to meet, how will you be able to meet the requirement on that, feel free to reach out to us. We can answer that accordingly. So any other questions? Guess if not, we will just wrap up. Thank you, Thomas, for bringing up like informative information about University of Notre Dame. They have over a range of the courses and very popular in nursing. If anyone have any question regarding to admission or the courses or scholarship, they offer welcome scholarship for all international students. As Thomas just mentioned, you don't have to apply. Generally, you would get it. You have any course information or like any queries, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you, Thomas, for sharing today.
No worries. It was my pleasure, and thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you.